Welcome to LimpDigits. I'm Romilly, and the diseased, festering pustule that's on the other end of the phone line is...
Romilly's mum.
Nice one. Good return. I'm going to come up with one for you later on. What are we playing, Oscar?
We are playing Plague Inc., which is, and I'm just going to blow the whole concept of, a narrative review out the window by saying it's bloody fantastic.
It is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, talk us through what it's all about in a lot less time than you normally do.
Okay, the story essentially is you are the creator, progenitor, and ultimately parent of a nasty sort of plague, a bacterium or a virus or a waterborne thingamajig. You have to basically start an infection in a country of your choosing and then cause it to spread across the entire world with the judicious application of new types of transmission vectors, different symptoms, and all the time you've got to evade those tedious, boring people that want to create a cure and stop you essentially wiping everyone out. How dull.
Can I ask, actually my first question is, you said it can be a bacteria or a virus or a waterborne thingamy. What would that be in a microbiological, scientific sort of way?
I don't know, I haven't unlocked them yet.
You mean there's something other than a bacteria and a virus? I suppose you get funguses, don't you? Fungi.
You start off and you have a bacteria which spreads in a certain type of way, and as you go through the game, you can also, as you go along, and this is one thing I like, you can start buggering about with its genetic codes to differentiate your, create a different type of base. But the main mechanic of the game is as you go through, you get sort of DNA points popping out, and you get those by infecting extra people, by causing fatalities, or just by clicking little bubbles that pop up. And you can use those to water the transmission vectors. So you can say, right, now it's going to spread by birds, now it's going to spread by livestock, it's going to get into the water supply. And then, also you can spend those on saying, right, now it's going to be it's going to cause people to sneeze, so it spreads that way. Now it's going to make people antisocial, so they don't present to the local health authorities. And the thing I absolutely love about this game is it actually has got quite a twisted, dark sense of humour, which I guess you've got to have for something like this, because you can get combos of symptoms. So I unlocked the other day the oops combo, where people have got diarrhea and sneeze.
Does one cause the other?
I don't know, but it's fantastic.
It's quite an image.
What do you think of it, Rob?
I think it's brilliant, actually. Do you know what I called my disease?
Tell you what, you tell me and I'll tell you what I called mine.
Well, I was thinking, now I know Oscar loves this game, and I know why he loves this game. It's because secretly this is an enactment of your kind of perfect world scenario, isn't it? Where you get to kill everybody and everything in humorous ways, in which people sneeze and poo at the same time. Stuff like that. So I called my disease Oscar. Oscar is killing everybody in the world in my game.
How delightfully unimaginative of you, Rob. I called mine the X Factor.
The X Factor? That's better. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one point where it popped up on the screen and went, the X Factor is now more contagious than the Black Death.
That just about sums up why this game is fun, because you can imagine things like that while you're playing it.
Yeah, it's quite good. And it's one of those things where it's actually a nice little strategic game, because it's got a definite beginning, middle and an end game. And you've really got to pace the way you're trying to spread your virus around.
Really?
This game's fantastic. It's so twisted and blackly humorous. It is fantastic.
I can imagine you orchestrating exactly this sort of thing from your house in the southeast suburbs of London or wherever it is you are. And you're like the Stewie Griffin of suburbia in Britain. You're trying to take out the world with a big grin on your face.
Yeah, do you know what? The only thing that would make me happier is if you could play this on a map of the UK, because I know for a fact that I would be targeting all my nasty airborne warriors, as they would be, at one small village somewhere in the south of Somerset, Romilly.
That's where I would be.
Yeah.
And my whole family.
To be fair, I'll be targeted at one house, or maybe just one room, maybe just your office, because frankly, the rest of your family are quite nice, but you, boils.
You can't just target a disease at one house. That's not a disease. That's specifically poison and specifically murder.
It's more like weeing through your letterbox. To be absolutely fair.
If you wee through my letterbox, and we all know how much alcohol would be in there, I'm just going to turn a lighter to it and it'll go right back up. And you'll pop all over my drive.
I like the idea of some sort of alcohol-based micturating flashback.
Yes, I've got the image in my head now. In fact, I think that's a good image to end on.
It's quite a good image. Anyway, right, I'm going to score this game, Romilly. I am going to give it a mighty 4.7. The only reason it's not getting a 5 is because it's graphically it's not optimised for the tablet I'm playing it on. I know that's asking for the moon on the stick for every game to be optimised for my particular bit of kit. Plays beautiful on my phone, still plays beautiful on the tablet. It's just a tiny little bit grainy on the visuals. Just enough to knock it off the 5, but a definite 4.7.
Yes, I would agree. I think, I'm going to give it a 4.5, a little bit lower, and the only reason for that is that it didn't quite grab me in the same way that it clearly grabbed you and your dark fantasies. I guess I need a bit more action. It's a bit slow, and I think you have to actually pay more, don't you, to get a fast forward function, to speed it up a little bit for people with short attention spans like me. So I could have just paid and done that, but you know what? I'll just give it a 4.5 instead.
Yeah, there are some microtransactional elements in here. I think they're quite discreet, though. You can play the whole game beginning to end. Have a perfectly fun experience without spending the money. But I've got to say, Rom, this is the first game for a long time where I'm seriously considering ponying up the cash.
Well, that's a recommendation if I ever heard one.
Yeah, because frankly, it's that or lager, and I quite like lager.
Yes. That sounds like a good idea, actually. I might go and have one.
Yeah. On that note, we're off to the corner shop, our respective corner shops, for some sort of respective... Rom's going for his bottle of fruit shoot, or maybe a nice Ribena-based thing, and I'm going for some cheap Polish lager. Cheerio!
Bye!
What shall I call my disease? Romilly. No, too obvious. Laura. No, probably still too obvious. Romilora. Romilora. No. Rom is poo. Rom is poo. Well, we knew that. Bum custard. Oh, there aren't enough letters. Oh, bugger.